What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is Carter Scotland Allen here, and today we are taking a look at the real first serious take at Batman. And I've said that before with Michael Keaton's Batman 1989, but this is a step above that. This is Batman Begins. Came out in 2005. I'm excited to talk about this film because this really is the first dark take on Batman, the first dramatic, grounded take on Batman, and really the only grounded, dramatic take on Batman to date, up until Robert Pattinson's, which I'm very excited for. This Batman film is fantastic. Let's not waste any more time and get right into discussing Batman Begins. So, Batman Begins is the first film in the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Many of you guys know this film. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you've seen it. You've seen the whole trilogy. I mean, who hasn't heard of these films by now? It's known. It's arguably. I mean, it is just known that this is the overall best adaptation of Batman. That I would say most people agree on this is the best version of Batman. Not necessarily in Batman Begins, but in this trilogy. So, Batman Begins was released in 2005 and starred Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne, Batman himself. This was directed by Christopher Nolan and was written by David S. Goyer as well as Christopher Nolan. A young Bruce Wayne travels to the Far East, where he's trained in the martial arts by Henry Ducard, a member of the mysterious League of Shadows. When Ducard reveals the League's true purpose, the complete destruction of Gotham City, Wayne returns to Gotham intent on cleaning up the city without resorting to murder. With the help of Alfred, his loyal butler, and Lucius Fox, a tech expert at Wayne Enterprises, Batman is born. Alright, so we're going to start with the directing of this film. The overall direction of the film is fantastic. I think this film is a great way at reintroducing Batman to general audiences. The world building is fantastic. This is probably the film in the Nolan trilogy that has the most grungy feel and the most grungy looking Gotham, grungy feeling Gotham. The really shitty parts of the neighborhoods, they look scummy. Like, I wouldn't want to live in any part of this version of Gotham. It is actually disgusting. It looks like, like you couldn't go outside without being scared. And that's what I really did enjoy about the visuals of this film and just the whole world building of this film. Christopher Nolan really knew how to change things up. I don't love everything a part of this story, but the world building, the connections between, certain characters, the actual visuals of the world itself, the thought processes between characters, like everything about this first iteration of Batman in the Christopher Nolan trilogy is really fantastic. There's really only a few nitpicks that I have about this film, and all of those come down to a certain character and a certain actor. If you're a fan of this film, you probably know what character I'm talking about. But we'll talk about that in just a sec. Christopher Nolan really knew where he was going with this trilogy. Even if he didn't have the whole trilogy mapped out, he knew how to navigate the world of Gotham and how to create a Bruce Wayne that really was not who Batman was. And I mean, that's a part of this plot point, or part of this film, is the fact that Bruce Wayne isn't who Bruce Wayne is, and that Batman is really the true identity of Bruce Wayne. So this film is really amazing, considering the first 4 films. But overall, Christopher Nolan really knew how to navigate the world of Gotham and just creating a world that longtime Batman fans know already, and then new fans could come in, know nothing about, and start to feel really attached right away. Alright, now on to the cast and the characters. So again, we have Christian Bale as Batman and Bruce Wayne, and I gotta say, this version of Bruce Wayne is probably my favorite, just because they really went to the extremes of showing how Bruce would have to basically cover himself. Like, he doesn't want to appear like he could be Batman in any way, so he just pretends to be this drunken millionaire playboy, and, you know, that ends up getting him a lot of hate in some ways, but it's what he needs to do. And I thought Christian Bale did a great job at that. Great performance all throughout. The fact that, you know, he did his whole weight transformation for this film, from The Machinist to this, went from like 90 pounds to like 210 or something like that. So, I mean, everything about his performance really in this is fantastic, and I would say that his performance in this is up there with his performance in The Dark Knight, and it just completely matches it. And I would say right now, just even ahead of The Dark Knight Rises, I haven't seen it since release, and there's a reason for that. It's because it's my least favorite film in the Christopher Nolan trilogy. You have Michael Caine as Alfred, and I absolutely love his version of Alfred. He's quirky, but he's also very charming, very loving. When he's serious and when he needs to be serious, and when he needs to, you know, snap Bruce out of whatever he's thinking in certain moments, he does it really well, and he is that you know, that father figure that he didn't have because his father was taken away from him. And I really do love this version of Alfred. I'm very excited to see a younger version though, with Andy Serkis. So, also I'll just say right now, very glad that they're going a different route with Andy Serkis, and that they're not going the typical older gentleman, just because we have seen it done so many times before, and we've seen it done so well with Michael Caine. And I'll just say right now, like, speaking on Michael Caine, I love his line, oh, you can borrow the Rolls Royce if you like, just bring it back with the whole tank. You know, it's fun little quips like that, and these films aren't funny, but that line was funny, and the delivery was funny, so Michael Caine brings a little lightheartedness to the really scummy world of Gotham. Katie Holmes was Rachel Dawes. She was fine. The character overall was fine. I thought anybody else could have played her, but she wasn't bad. Like, there was nothing bad about her character. It's just that she was really there to be a kind of moral grounds for Bruce, except that she wasn't there to be that through much of the film. And I think her character overall shines in The Dark Knight. It's just that they recast the actress, so it is a little jarring in that sense. And that is one thing that Batman films just seem to do, is recasting people for whatever reason. And then we'll just say the villains of the film. We have Cillian Murphy, I believe it's Cillian, as the Scarecrow. He was fantastic. The design of the Scarecrow is fantastic. I know that's not on his part, but he played a great Scarecrow. He was really, really believable in the fact that he's just this guy going around, you know, messing with people's heads with this fear toxin, and slowly taking over small parts of Gotham just by inducing fear into the citizens. And so that was a great casting choice, and I think that this role alone made a lot of people fall in love with Cillian Murphy, and I think he's a great actor. I'll just say it now, spoilers, this movie's been out forever. I'm just going to say it now, spoilers now, this movie's been out forever. Liam Neeson, he's the villain. He really is the true Ra's al Ghul, which I know a lot of you real hardcore Batman fans absolutely hate, which I don't hate, I just don't care. I've never really been a Liam Neeson fan. I like him as Qui-Gon Jinn, and that's honestly about it. I don't know if there's really any film of Liam Neeson's that I love. There's honestly no Liam Neeson film that I can say that would be on my top 100. And that includes this film. That's just because there's so many great films out there, and I don't think that Batman Begins deserves to be on that top 100 list. But yeah, I don't like Liam Neeson as an actor. I don't like the whole reveal of Ra's al Ghul trying to, just take over the city of Gotham and destroy it. I could have gone without that, and personally, my least favorite part was him teaching him training him, and that was somewhat the story, but most of all, Liam Neeson's pretentious delivery. I just don't care, don't want to see it, don't need to see it. As for the story, this, also kind of falls in line with the Liam Neeson character of Ra's al Ghul. I personally wish that Ra's al Ghul had been completely exempt from this film and just solely made Scarecrow the villain, because Scarecrow was really terrifying. I love the shot of him riding on the horse and his eyes are glowing red. The Scarecrow in this film is really captivating. Like, I could have watched his version of Scarecrow for, an entire hour of the film, just seeing him mess with different, political figures in Gotham, or mess with the mob in Gotham, using his fear toxin. Like, everything about the Scarecrow is fantastic. And the fact that he was just a pawn for Ra's al Ghul kind of just undermined everything that he did that was, intelligent or smart or, clever decision making on his part. It gave all the credit to Ra's al Ghul, who in the end died like a bitch. Like, I don't know what else you want me to say. I like the origin of this Batman, but let's go into the cinematography of this film, actually. So overall, this is probably the like I said, this is the grossest that Gotham has looked so far in live action, and I really appreciate that. Nothing about the cinematography was really beautiful in a sense. Like, there's no single shot in this film that like blew me away. I would say the only true shot that I really remember is Bruce dressed up, I guess, Batman in the Batcave with the bats swarming around him. I think it was just Bruce. But either way, I couldn't remember that much. So the cinematography was very well done. It's just that it wasn't memorable. I think the parts that were memorable were the parts showing the destruction and the pit that is Gotham. Anytime it showed the city, that's when I was really captivated by the visuals. Other than that, the fight sequences were really kind of hard to follow. It just looks like kind of every other film at the time, not in a bad way. It hasn't aged really at all. So I'll give it to Christopher Nolan on that, because there's a lot of films from 2005 that look like absolute shit today. But this film holds up really, really well. Let's not waste any more time and get into the final thoughts. Alright, so for the final thoughts, I like this film a lot. It's not my favorite Batman film. It's not in my top... Okay, it is in my top 3 so far, I think. So stay tuned for my Batman ranking. I don't know. It might change. I had fun with this film. I really, really did. All of the other versions of Batman I truly haven't enjoyed as much as this film, so it might seem like I am a little negative and Debbie Downer on this film, but I'm not. I did have a really fun time. It's just that The Dark Knight is so much better. It's so good. And I know I probably sound like a simp for that movie, because everybody loves that movie. But stay tuned for that review, because I can't wait to talk about it. I just got done watching it tonight. And so, yeah, when comparing The Dark Knight to this, you just can't. So hope you guys liked this review. Let me know what you guys thought of Batman Begins. Were you guys huge fans of it growing up? Are you a huge fan now? Let me know what you guys think of Batman Begins. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video, which will be the review of The Dark Knight.